What's up, y'all? I'm PC McCray.
Hey, y'all, my name is Shaun, and this is the Everything Has Changed podcast.
From two college roommates to 40-something adults, life has been lifing, and we want to talk about it. We're the new adults, y'all. How did that happen?
I don't know, P, but we got to talk about it.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Take that, take that, take that.
Oh, no.
Nope. That is gone.
Please.
Jeez.
Please, P.
Ugh.
I can't believe that's how you started. Wait, I need to get myself together.
That's the last time. This episode, we are going to be talking about the Diddy documentary, Shaun Combs, The Reckoning, that's on Netflix. Shonda and I both watched, and it was released December 2nd. We are now recording, what is today? I don't know.
The
6th. And so when we release, it's still, everybody will be having opinions. And so here we are. What do you say, Shaun?
And P, you're not even 24 hours out from
No.
the onslaught of, so I understand because it's super fresh.
I watched it last night. When
Yeah.
I got home from work and settled in and watched all 4 parts, and just each one, I mean, out the gate, my mouth was like, "Oh." And then I started to remember stuff as I'm watching. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, that's right."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I knew when they started with his mom because, well, of course, if you're telling somebody's like life story, you're gonna start with them as a kid. And everything you ever see about Diddy, it's always, they're gonna address his mom because they're clearly, very close. But they always say like, his dad was killed, his dad was a drug dealer or in the streets, whatever the case. Which let's put a pin in that because
Uh-huh.
there's okay. And so, but usually that's about it. But they went a little further into his mom just off the rip. And I said, oh yeah, they finna tell it for real. Because I've been wondering how come nobody ever talks about his mom and I didn't know anything about his mom when he was a kid. I just from watching their interactions, especially when all this stuff started to come down, when Cassie's lawsuit came and all that, and they would start talking about the freak offs and all the stuff, and I'm like, well, how come Diddy mama she always there though? Like she always like this. Okay, yeah, okay, she must know something's going on. And then I saw that video from before when we didn't know what was going on, and she was right there with him getting her IV put in, and I said, Janice? Janice? Like somebody needs to ask a question. And so when they started and went, all in, I said, oh, they about to really talk about it.
They go in there with the baby pictures and when he's a little guy.
Yes.
The whole dandy, and had him dressed up in fur coats and little suits, and he looks, what, 5, 6, 7, 8?
Yeah, tiny.
The
boy.
friend. First of all, well-produced. The storytelling of it all.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
And
Let's
this
just say
is
that.
not it's not only 50's project
No.
or anything, and
He's the name.
He's the name, so they gotta use him to sell the thing. He's gotta use him to sell the thing. And like I mentioned on the last episode, one thing about 50, he will go hire the people that can really do the thing. Like he understands his role and his position, and then he also brings them clearly, like on the press tour and everything. But I will say, I knew when they said this is really a thing that he's doing, I said 50 know how to tell a story. And everybody didn't watch Power and Ghost and all the things, but so if you didn't, I'm just here to say he is our, like, no matter yes, 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 he is be problematic and all that too.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're
But
gonna
he
let's put a pin in
would
that
put a
too.
pin in that. But he really does the TV production side. Like, he
Mhm.
really does that. Not like he pretty much I don't know if he's completely done with music, but
He
he
needs to.
really does that, even if it just means that he takes his money and he go finds the people who really do that. So it wasn't gonna be like some BET uncut late night straight to TV documentary type of thing when they announced that this really was a thing that he was doing. But also how brilliant of you guys to drop the trailer and announce the thing the day before it comes out. Because last week, remember I was like, "Wait, when does it come out?" And you're like, "Tomorrow." I was like, "Tomorrow?"
Yep. Mhm.
Because you knew Puffy and them was finna try something. So,
Mhm.
yes, let's just
The
release it.
lawyers, we're gonna
The
try to do something. They're like, "Nope, it's out.
Nope,
Nope, we're putting it out."
nope, nope, it's already
Um,
out. So,
1, 2, 3. There are 5
brilliant.
producers, other producers than 50 Cent. And so, like we talked about,
Executive
he's the name
producers?
executive producers.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I will say too, the thing about television is, because the lady who directed it is a black lady. And the only thing that I will say is television is different from movies. So the director is not the boss at television. The producers are. Whereas in movies, the director is the boss and everybody else follows behind them. So it's not inaccurate, for the people that are say, "Oh, 50, this is 50's project and executive producer, whatever," because there's a drastic difference between television and movies. So being that it was TV and through
Mhm.
Netflix and stuff, he had the upper hand in all this, but he went and got that team. And he said it took him 5 months to find her and that she was the one. And he was like, she's about to win awards off of this. So
Woo!
kudos. What's it? What?
Uh,
Her name is
A
Alexandra. Is it
Stapleton.
Stapleton? Okay.
Mhm.
Shout
And
out
so
Alexandra Stapleton.
she's listed as director and producer, executive
Go
producer.
ahead, woman.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we'll do that. We'll say that. It is well, produced and the storytelling and just how they laid it out. Ooh.
And sourced too. And this is
Mm.
just what I was thinking when I was like, people who are in these industry when they do these documentaries, to me, it's always so much better when the people who are putting it together were actually in it, a part of it of that time. Cause it's
Mhm.
like, how did y'all get some of it? Not even how did y'all get some of this stuff, but it's like y'all talked them into giving up some of this stuff. Like that proffer, that recording, crazy.
Yeah. So we know he was clearly, we're talking about his arrogance and just we see he thought he was a god. He said it. He said it.
The amount of times that he compared himself to God and Jesus
Ooh, I wanted to punch him.
every single episode,
I wanted to punch him. Mm-mm.
and then these are just
Mm-mm.
clips, so imagine how much he says it all day long.
All day
Why
long.
do you keep comparing yourself to Jesus?
I'm a god.
Like,
You're not a god. You're not. But he wanted to record this whole process so then he can release it as, "Oh,
mhm,
you see that whole trope, you take it down a black man, they tried to take
mhm,
me down and all the because what do you all of that filming during this most critical time, and especially the scenes I know we're jumping ahead, but when
mm.
he's talking about a God and he was like, "Well, God told me to sit still, but you know what you gotta do." Talking to his
And he was
son.
talking to his children. Hey, if you
Mm,
can't get yourself out of this, what is this 20-something-year-old supposed to do?
I
And they grew up with this man.
idolized.
Yeah,
And
they clearly idolize him.
I'll say too, we see if people were talking about, "Oh, Cassie should have left, all these women should have left." If grown men didn't say nothing, didn't do nothing, didn't stop him. What the whole boy, Steve Stout got beat up and then
And
settled with him,
still
still
and
came back
still
and did business. So what you think
smiling in
women
pictures. I remember
supposed
that.
to do? Smiling in pictures.
Mhm.
What do you think women are supposed to do?
And
How
I
much
do
power do you think the
think
women have in his life?
plus and forgive me, but I just always feel like it's younger people saying these things because it's like, y'all don't know who Puffy was when he was
They don't know.
that guy. Do
That
you know what I
guy.
mean? He's not I don't and well, I don't really care if I shade him now at this point, but I'm like, no shade, but it's like he's at a different part in his career now. Just
Mhm.
like Jay-Z. You know what I mean? It's a different dynamic now as a part of their careers. When Puffy was really out here, when that making the band that era, man, that stuff just jogs so many memories. Like,
All of it.
and people don't know how influential he was. But then also, even if you look at music business now, a lot of people have gone independent or they're running more of their
Mhm.
own things or they can go straight to the consumer. That wasn't a thing back then. You
No.
had to go through only a handful of people. You had to get on MTV, TRL. You had to get on 106 in Park. You couldn't just do it from your living room. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, these are different times. Back then, you had to really get along with certain people in order to do anything.
Mhm.
Girl,
Anything to even move. And the progression starting when he was young, and we knew about him being Andre Harrell's assistant and being 19, this eager kid that just wanted the business.
I
We
did
heard
not
about
know
that.
that he lived with him though.
That part.
That I didn't know. I was like, ain't
Yeah,
nobody told me that. And to be fair, again, back then in those days, this is a thing that happened, but with artists. I don't know why
artist.
Puffy was living with him because artists would have to go live with the manager or with the producer, and then they would be in the studio on,
Mhm.
Usher had to move to Atlanta to get his music done. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mhm.
like, but Puffy was just his assistant, and then he was his
Assistant.
A&R.
He eventually
And so
became A&R.
it eventually, and so let's put a pin in that. Like, because I'm hopeful that we will have a tinfoil hat section.
Yeah.
You know, I
We
love a
have we
tinfoil
have
hat.
to.
So, okay, good. So we'll put a pin. Look,
Ah.
let me take a note that what I want to talk about in the tinfoil hat section. But
Oof.
yes, I'm sorry. So you're saying that we knew that Puffy was Andre Harrell's assistant.
Mhm. And then was given Jodeci?
Yeah,
Like,
as
that's
his
your first
project.
act? Mary? That's
Yeah.
so that right there ushers in, and it also made me think, like, Mary was going through it.
Mhm.
Did he do these things to her? That's why she was on drugs and try to
Mm.
medicate herself? Did she see all of this stuff and was like, "Yo, my music career, I'm popping off, I'm trying to get out the hood," all of her background? It makes you ask all these questions because this has been going on since day 1.
Mhm.
Day 1 of how he's been treating women and building up his confidence in his power. I loved when the friend was like at first, he got picked on as a kid.
Yeah. Talk
He
about it.
was he was like a loser. He got picked on and had to come running home and ask for help.
He had to
And
take
so
on
that
some new personas.
he had to take that on. And so it's almost like that the bully is that insecure kid inside. And he's always been trying to boost that little kid up, and now it just has grown into this monster where he thought he was just untouchable, and he almost was.
And honestly, P, when you think about the whole system that he had set up from way back when, it's like you don't just
Ooh,
happen upon that either. You're taught that, you learn that from watching. And
Andre?
so and look, I don't know if that was Andre's deal, but I do know that when they showed Clive, I was like, "Oh shit, I don't think I realized that Clive was
Mhm.
how he got to Bad Boy." Like I thought Andre Har- and but as soon as they showed Clive, I said, "Oh, wait a minute, because Clive is his name has always been in the
Always.
circles." It's like a young black man does not just learn how to um I wanna say I'm saying use people, but that's not strong enough. But a young black man is just not going to learn how to play the game that honestly these older white men play, like, in his early 20s. That don't just happen it don't happen, like, by osmosis, like or maybe it is osmosis, but it ain't just like a download and now today you're doing it. You've watched it,
Outside.
you've seen it, and
Mhm.
if one of the story because there were several different through lines that they were telling through the documentary, and if one of them is that he would do anything to get to this power, to maintain this power, he would clearly get next to anybody famous
Anything. Anything.
and then grab their network and move to the next. So, he started playing the game that these other type people play. And so then I was like, "Well, who taught who where did
Who?
where did that begin as far as because
Who?
this kind of stuff is and I'm not even saying like let's separate right now like the sex crimes piece of it just for 30 seconds just for me to say
Mhm.
these things are always taking place in these higher echelons. So that's why I was like, I want to know who was the higher echelon. Like, how did he? Because no, I'm gonna wait for tinfoil hat time.
Mm.
Imma wait Imma wait for tinfoil hat time. Imma wait for tinfoil hat time. But yeah, that's what originally I was like, when Clyde pops up, I said, "Oh," I said,
Yeah.
"Oh," because somebody had to teach him, like, all your artists can stay beholden to you
Mhm.
if you put them in these deals or if you don't or even just the fact that he didn't pay the videographers, and that's how the footage got, you know what I'm saying, to Netflix. Like, if you hadn't just paid them but then the people
Mhm.
started coming out, it's like, "Oh, no, no, he didn't pay." Yeah, we know he didn't pay his artists, he didn't pay anybody. But
Nobody.
he also only worked with folks who would be on call for him 24/7, so that meant
Mhm.
they were normally younger people.
Mhm.
So and even if they did have a contract, he knew the loopholes and stuff, and it's like, those kind of power games, you didn't learn that
He
in
he
Mount Vernon.
learned from Clyde, and remember, Clyde was back in the day, Berry Gordy,
Mhm,
Motown. This isn't new of them
mhm.
exploiting artists like this. It's just those guys, Berry Gordy, Clive, they weren't the attention. They didn't want to be on stage. They
That's
didn't
it,
wanna be the act.
and
They
that's
just
how they
wanted
got
to
to
take
keep
control.
going. Mhm,
Yes. He wanted to be
mhm.
on stage, and he wanted to be the artist. He wanted to be the
All on
man,
stage, dancing in the
all on
videos.
dancing in the videos. I was like,
P, when
"Oh
they
my
said
god."
that he would charge the artist for him being in the video, but it was
Bruh.
his idea for him to be in the video, they didn't even want like, we all getting talked about because you in the video with your shiny suit dancing, you know, like I
Mhm.
said, take that,
And he
can't
kept
stop, won't
dancing.
stop," and then you
Exactly.
charge them for that? You're
Dancing.
not even an artist. Like, my mouth dropped, P.
All of it. All of it. Oh, and the whole Biggie, so we knew that was getting real big when Biggie was like, "I don't wanna go out to LA." And why would you go after all of that stuff? In his spirit, in his heart of hearts. But
Yeah.
because Diddy had so much control over the money, we didn't understand. We just saw he's the star. Biggie, you got all the money. No, you don't. They was all broke. He had some, but when he canceled the flights, I'm like, "Just leave, still leave. Go back to the hotel, get away from this man." He
Mhm.
said, "No, he's staying. You're not going to the UK to do something else. You're gonna stay in LA."
And people have said there were people who said that night at the party, like, he told several people he was getting out of his deal with Puffy.
Mhm.
He wanted out, and they were
So they
supposed to be speaking on it in the coming days.
Yep.
Literally, that night, he was having that conversation with somebody, and then he didn't make it home.
And immediately, who became the star?
Hey friends, we're so thankful for your support. If you want to be updated whenever we drop a new episode or when we drop some of the special things we've got coming, head on over to everythinghaschangedpodcast.com and drop us your email so you can stay locked in. Cool? Cool.
So he moved Tupac out the way. He moved Biggie out the way. Anybody out the way so he could be the main one. When they did the scene, when they cut to him doing the "I'll Be Missing You" tribute, to him just dancing in the middle of the stage and all white, just him, just dancing and just diddy bop, diddy bopping all around, spinning. It is, we're using the word diabolical a lot now. That is
Yeah,
diabolical.
with the
Diddy
choir.
is diabolical with the choir. All
And
of this
you
is
know,
going
that's the
on.
whole thing with Sting. He didn't pay Sting to use that sample. So Sting to this day, they say he get $5,000 a day or something off of every single time that song is played, cause Puffy stole it, put it out, and so, "Alright, cool. Alright,
Mhm.
you gonna pay me." And he don't pay nobody. And so then Sting is like, "Okay, I'll get on stage," you know? And then that with the guy, cause they interviewed the oh, look, we ain't never say spoiler alert. Hey, hey,
Oh,
hey.
well,
Maybe I will say this, if you can't, cause they talk about some things that are really, as you can imagine, they really talk about some really
this is
gross
true.
things. They also show dead bodies, they're covered, but they're in black and body, but they show some dead bodies. They show blood in this documentary, uh, like, literally like a crime scene blood, so if that
Graphic
ain't
detail
yeah,
of
it's very
assault.
graphic, so maybe just listen to us instead talk about it,
Yeah,
but if you can't sit through that, but when they interviewed one of the prostitutes. This man said he worked with them worked with them, well, sure, work, okay. He did freak offs with them for 8 years, he said,
8 years.
and he said without fail, every single year on March 9th, which is the day that Biggie died, they would call him to do a freak off and to come to with Miami or wherever they are and to spend a couple days with them every single March 9th. And then Puffy has this thing where he was calling it Biggie Day. And so when it started, you thinking, oh, so he wants people to remember this. Oh, this is Biggie Day versus remembering it as, oh, this is the day that he died, to have a happy memory instead of sad memory. But now, in light of everything, it's like, nah, it was like he was celebrating his death.
That's what it looks like.
Uh, and then you be thinking, like, this is too wild and crazy. Can't be true, except there are like 85,000 stories of this.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And so originally when I watched, I was like, they know they audience because they have touched on every conspiracy theory that
Everything.
has come up since
Over the
all this mess
years.
with Diddy, like, and they talked about everything. And then I was like, well, no, they didn't. They talked about Kim Porter. They did not talk
No,
about the conspiracy. And when I saw Al
mm-mm.
B. Sure pop up, I said, oh, we gonna talk about it. We gonna talk. And Al B. Sure talked about it. So likely I don't know if, like, legally he said some things that was just too far left or whatever, but imagine how far left it had to be if they left in if they want you to come to the consensus that Puffy was behind,
Mhm.
Tupac's murder, and they want you to leave the consensus that Puffy was behind Biggie's murder. These are unsolved murders from 20, 30 years ago, but they didn't touch on the Kim Porter. That just makes it seem even more like, what did he do? Because Al B. Sure was in there just for say one sentence to talk about, no, 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 no. I know he said some because he been all over saying everything.
Once he got out of he had a transplant, liver transplant, and was very, very
Yep.
sick and was supposed to be writing this book, and so same, when I saw him in the doc, I'm like, "Oh, maybe he's saving some for his book?" But they mentioned Kim just being as the love of his life, the one that his wife, and then he had a wifey with Cassie, and they said that Kim didn't play those games. But then somebody else said that they would be in the room essentially fighting each other. She would fight him back. But
Mhm.
I guess the cheating and all the things just got in the way, and then that was when she decided to split and moved on. You're absolutely correct, though. They talked about everybody else's stuff, but not hers.
And it's so many of them, P, like,
So
it's
many.
so many. And this is just done very intentional because even if they didn't
Mhm.
get into all of that, they literally showcase everyone who has died around this man, even if they didn't outright starting with Heavy D. No,
Everything.
starting with the kids at that concert, right?
Yeah, the gym.
Which I didn't I remembered it. I remembered that it happened while he was in college. I remember he was a promoter. I didn't remember it was 9 people. For some
I
reason, I
didn't
thought it was like
either.
3. I
Yeah.
didn't know it was 9. I didn't know how it happened. So when they showed, like,
Ugh.
that everybody went down,
The
and they got
doors
crushed up against the door,
needed
I
to open up
and
inward.
it wouldn't
Oh,
open, and then they showed the bodies and the body bags, and I was like, "Okay, and this is the beginning."
the beginning. First episode, out the gate.
This is just, like, the first 15 minutes,
Stretching.
and I had to take a deep breath because I actually I'm but the way that I be talking about white boy shoot 'em ups,
Right.
well, I don't actually do well with, like, real life, like death and some stuff like 48 Hour, all that stuff
Mhm.
people be watching. I can't
Is
too
there's a
much.
difference.
Yeah,
Movies are
I can't
fake.
really, and that's
That
why I love
those
it.
are real
Yeah,
people
give me
under
the
those
fakeness.
tarps.
But that gave me pause, and I was like, and it was nighttime. I was like, "Do I wanna watch this right now? Should I
Yeah.
wait should I wait till the morning?" But then they started talking about, and I knew that he was around Heavy D and all that. I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
I'm not saying it was close, but they did stuff together, like, the 2 of
Mhm.
them is what the documentary implied, and then that's how he got to Andre Harrell. Like, I didn't know that he moved through Heavy D to get to
Mhm.
Andre Harrell, so then when you look at everybody he moved through is dead, and it's like, and then you think, "Okay, well, this was years ago," and it's like,
Yeah.
but a lot of people are still here. It ain't like they was, like, 80 like, they 80 or 90 now. These people in their 50s. So why are all these people dead? Like, it's and again, that was one of those things that they didn't outright say, but that's how these people did their job because they told the story, and some of the stories they told was without them having to be on the nose. Like the fact that
Mhm.
they only showed certain clips. So they went out of their way to show a clip of Puffy talking to TD Jakes. Now what?
I peeped that.
Now what? Like, cause
Now
he's talked to Oprah, he's talked to Barbara Walters, he's talked to, but this is Diddy on TD Jakes, and then they gonna go to the TV and then pan back to Puffy, and Puffy gonna wink at the camera. Like, what the fuck?
I
What the
was like, "All right. Okay."
what? And then they showed a clip of him with Ellen, and it's like, okay, you guys are really playing into
Mhm.
all the
Mhm.
conspiracy.
And,
Y'all
it started to slip. I think he got to a point where he knew he was untouchable because what was that with Andy when he was showing the commercial
Andy
for the
Cohen.
Ciroc, and he and Cassie essentially he was like, "Yeah, this is what we do. This is our lifestyle." But he caught himself. He was like, "The fantasies that we like to do. That's when I'm putting it out." But he had already said, "No, this is what we do." So I decided to put it in our commercial and sell this lifestyle that I'm into. And he caught himself. I'm like, "He's been telling us." He says it. He said it, Kalina was just like, when they won, they went backstage and had a stack of documents that she didn't know,
Yeah.
and he says, "If you sign it,
Oh,
that's
that
it."
was Babs. And
Babs.
then people were like, "Why would they do that?" It was like, "Did you
They're
not watch the show?
kids.
These are all kids from, like, the
They're
project." You know
kids.
what I'm saying? Like, he literally targeted them to be the ones. He
Mhm.
targeted these people. And unless
Yep.
you grow up or have this dream of growing up to be this star or musician, like, people always talking down on these people, but then it's like, just replace it with what the manifestation of your dream would be.
Yeah.
And then say you're 18,
You meet your hero,
and then say, like,
this person
come on,
who's
this is
doing
not,
it.
it's not that big of a jump, especially at that time. And they all went back there and signed it.
And real talk. let somebody put a stack of documents in front of you right now. The legal jargon, without you going to look for a professional to help you read through it, legal
Mhm.
jargon is confusing for a reason. And so a lot of us out here, when we're trying to get our health benefits with work, like, well, now what does this mean?
Yeah.
What am
Yeah,
I
yeah,
signing
yeah.
here? What is
Like
this?
co-insurance,
You know,
co-pay.
401k. What is this? What is all this stuff? So imagine, like you said, 19-year-old,
Please.
hungry, just wanting to Diddy Bop.
And that is your dream. That exact
That's
thing
your
is your dream. Like, just
dream.
replace it with whatever your dream is.
They signed it. She was like, and I signed it. Yeah, signed it.
I was surprised to see day 26. Then they put
Everybody.
Q in there, and when I saw Q's face, I said, "Are we gonna talk about it? Are we
They
gonna talk about it?" And then
sprinkles.
they were like, "No." And I'm like,
Just like a
what are y'all
glimpse. Like,
yeah.
hey,
'Cause it's like, "Oh,
it
there's
was that.
day 26, but it's only 3 of them. Okay.
Mhm.
So, whew, okay, well, that makes sense because 'cause I'm sure Q doesn't wanna talk about, "Oh, there's Q." Like, "Oh."
During the grooming. And
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
okay, this is also what got me. So our narrator of
Mhm.
the documentary, I'm gonna call him the narrator.
Okay.
Max, what was his name? No,
Kirk
Kirk,
Burrows.
Kirk
Yeah.
Burrows.
Ah,
So
that poor man.
we're we're talking. He's leading us
Mm.
through all these things. He's confirming. He's like, I've been there. And then on the last episode where
Mhm,
he's like, yeah, and he didn't pay me, and so I sued him. But he also essayed me as well and
mhm,
abused me as well.
mhm.
That's the part where I was like, "Oh."
And then they was like, "And end."
And,
The actual like, is
you
there
was
a part 2?
there. You was there from day one, but once he didn't pay you back, now you can spill the beans and have all these things come out. But when I remembered his lawsuit,
I was gonna say, but when did he sue him though? Because it was way
I'm gonna
before,
look it
wasn't it?
up. It was, and at
Okay,
that
because he
that
had
was at
stuff
the
in that
height.
suit. Yeah,
That
like,
was
he
at the
tried.
height, and nobody was they were like, "Diddy don't
Nobody believed him,
nah,
and see?
nah, Diddy
See?
don't do that." Exactly.
Like,
Let me see, when did he do that
and then
lawsuit?
y'all not believing, and this man literally built the company with this man, and somebody made a
Built it.
point on Threads, like, the star always has the partner, right? Jay-Z had Dame Dash. Dame Dash was like, and forgive me, I don't know their titles or their roles, but for the purpose of the story, that I'm trying to tell, Dame Dash built the company, so he was probably like the president or whatever. Kirk Burrows was the president of Bad Boy,
Mhm,
and so Baby had Slim. You know, like they all had
mm.
that partner who was the one who handled the business and did the thing. Everybody had their role, and they always had a partner to do this. And so it's crazy as how we go this far and we didn't even know he had a partner.
2006, and that's when they first tried to
Oh.
bring up RICO.
Oh, no, this man tried. He tried.
2006.
That was 20 years ago. Yeah. And he was the one,
Immediately
wasn't he the one?
dismissed.
He was like, I don't immediately dismissed?
Well, they said they found it, they were like, "No, mm-mm, nope, I'm reading through it. It's right there."
And
And
now he's home.
it's
Well, he didn't say he was homeless right now, but
mhm.
he
He
implied,
went through it.
that all these things have happened since then. I
Mhm.
hope he's
And
better
you're
now.
watching this man Diddy Bop, still Diddy Bopping, his fame as they kept saying all these ventures that Shaun John blew up. I remember that campaign, the Vote or Die campaign. We were all on Vote or Die.
I had
Sarah,
the shirt. I
we
had the
all
shirt.
did.
I
We
had the
bought into
unbothered shirt.
it.
Let me tell you something. I
All of
was
us.
a Puffy stan
He
for
was
no
there.
reason. That's why it's crazy. It's crazy the turn I've taken. But I literally, because for so much of the time, like I wanted to be in entertainment journalism, and I wanted to do so. Like I'm following everything, right? And when that lady was it Joy? Dickerson Neal, who was
Yes.
the first one to come up in the documentary and talk about how she was sexually assaulted by a person.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
When they showed that billboard of him in Times Square with his hand up, my heart dropped because
Mhm.
I was in New York that summer, and I used to make my friends we used to go to Times Square, like, every day that I was there so that I could go see that billboard. We would drive through and then yell out the window and be like, "Puffy!" Every day that I was in New York, driving by that thing. And when she said there used to be this billboard of him in Times Square with his fist up, and she was like, "And I saw it and I literally vomited on the street." And then they showed the billboard, and
Mhm.
I had a second. I just put my head down
Mhm.
because I'm like, I was that person who, like, I thought that was
We
cool.
all
Like,
were.
I felt horrible, like I had something to do with it. 'Cause I was like, I would literally I was going for that billboard, and she saw that billboard, and then she had to deal with that, and then I was like, "Man, the way girl, the way life turns." He got so high. He got
He got
so
too high.
high.
Another thing, Capricorn Clark, her
Yeah,
story, the assistant, when she said they knew the darkness in him, but the people around him at that time spoke to the light in him. There were two
yeah.
different people. He can be two different people.
Mhm,
Remember that insecure little boy that got beat up? That kid was still in there. And so she said we would talk to that Diddy and try to
mhm,
encourage and uproot that Diddy.
mhm,
Once all those people were gone, they were speaking to the monster, the demon. And that's who they were feeding. And then that's when he just built up so high, untouchable. I still can't get over that he had a film crew. Dude, you got federal charges on you. I guess because of the lawsuit in 2006, it kinda had some of the same things with the RICO and SA, sexual assault, but because it was a man, 'cause it was a
yeah,
man,
mhm,
and 'cause at this point, they just kept showing every time he got in trouble in front of the press, and I am innocent of these allegations. He tried it before the video of Cassie came out.
yeah,
I didn't do that. I would
right.
never do that. That would never. And then here
Cause
comes
he
the
is a
video.
marketer.
Marketer,
Even way back
manipulator,
from yes, he's a manipulator, but it's like he also even back from in college, like, he is was into marketing and what people will listen to, what
promotion.
they will ignore, how you speak to people, the messaging, and that has served him in his career, and he's used that then, and it turned into that manipulation, but it's like, just the way that he focused on the marketing part of it. So when they started as soon as they started documentary, they started talking about the communications and stuff, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, y'all lawyering over there, but somebody need to be focused on the communications aspect because this is how people gonna take it." And damn it,
Uh-huh.
if that shit didn't lightweight work, not only did it work,
It did. It did.
I am actually very thankful that they timed this the way that they did. Because when he got acquitted of those other charges and he ended up with those lighter charges, the story changed.
Uh-huh.
Then, and remember for a month or so, he was steady trying to get that judge to let him
Mhm.
go back home. And we thought it was going to happen, that he might just be on
Mhm.
house arrest or something. So there was that.
Yeah.
And the judge just never let that come to pass. But then people were just like, "Oh, well, yeah, so he just into sex stuff. So that's just what it is." The timing of this, because again, and this is where it helps that it was 50 Cent going against this. Because 50 Cent is also very good at narratives. And they always say, like, this 50 Cent that y'all see, like, that's him, but like his personal friends or that the women that he deal with, they're like, he's actually like the sweetest guy, like blah blah blah. Like he knows who he needs to be on social media. He knows when he's trying to get better in his contract, a better deal with stars, that he's gonna go put it on social media, that he's leaving. Like he knows how to push y'all's buttons, right? So
Mhm.
then for him to be the
Bully.
one going against Puffy, he had to be the one to realize, okay, the narrative has changed. Puffy think he finna come home and get back on his bullshit. And
Mhm.
it has to come back around. We need to bring the people back around to what, so it's almost like all the stuff that he got acquitted of, excuse me, that's the stuff that the documentary was mainly about. It was like, lest y'all
Mhm.
forget. And
Mhm.
honestly, when all this stuff was going on, that Keefy D stuff came out in the middle of all that. Cause it was
Mhm.
on the shade room. I remember sharing it with some of my friends. Like, this man just definitively said Puffy was the one who paid him to kill Tupac. You know,
Yep.
we talk about it for like a day and then it's out the news cycle. So they were like, okay, time to talk about this again because guess what? That man finna go to trial. That man is
Yep.
finna go to trial in 2026, which is less than a month away that
Mhm.
year. Like, let's talk about this again. And let's talk about how it connects with Biggie. Like all this little stuff that had come up. Nobody was really grabbing onto it. And then Puffy got acquitted and the whole narrative changed. I'm so thankful that they brought this narrative back around because it was about to
Crazy.
end up with Puffy was literally, it was working
Mhm.
for all intents and purposes, right? 50
Mhm.
months versus like 25 years or whatever he was looking at, 30
Yep.
years. Um, it was working. This really, and I'm thankful.
It
But
was.
I think this really fucked them up here. This might have been the kill shot right here. Cause it's like, and they say Puffy sent 50 a funeral arrangement.
What?
Yeah, he put it on Instagram.
I
He
did
put it
not hear about that.
he put it on Instagram. Cause you know 50 go 50 gon he whatever's going on, he gonna put it all the way out there.
Wow.
Um, I'll show you what it looked like.
Wow. Bruh. When did he post that?
um, 2 days ago.
That's
So he said he said, "What kind of gay shit is this? Diddy send me
okay.
flowers at Club 11," which is I guess it's some hotel. "At Club 11, LOL, why all the foreplay? Just get busy." But then when he went in the comments and he said, just to be clear, he was this is a warning from him.
Mhm.
But he was like, "But I'm ready, I'm ready for it." Like,
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm ready for it." Probably saying this man funeral arrangement because this really was
Still.
this was really bad, you guys.
It was bad. And you're right. He had his henchmen and people who still are ride or die for
Yep.
him during the trial. They said how people would be in there and they would spin it. And it, like you said, it worked. And them jurors, let me tell
My guy today. My
she
God
was a
today.
fan.
Talk about
How'd you,
I'm not a fan.
how'd
Then
you
you go
even
talk
get
about
through? You were a fan. Let's start here. And I think we've said it when the trial first happened. Because of the abuse and the way he can manipulate and leading up to he was still communicating with witnesses, why didn't they sequester the jurors?
Pete. Remember, you was the one who told me they didn't sequester. And remember, I was like, "What did you say to me?" I didn't even know that was an option tonight. I didn't know you. I didn't know.
Then people were leaving the courthouse and going home, going into their communities. Talking about, oh, we were told to stay off social media, but some people were really yearning to get get out of my face. They knew exactly what was going on. They were
Yep.
hearing the things. Y'all let them go home. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that happened, knowing that he's witness tampering
Yes.
days leading up to the trial. So, uh,
With just
but
Kalina alone, called her 50 times
alone.
and
And she
still
came
didn't give her the
back.
money she asked. She
That
asked for
girl asked
$5,000.
5
You a billionaire.
no, when Craig Mack's wife at the time, she said this man pulled out a wad of money and gave him a
It's
$100
and
bill.
pulls out one.
$5,000. I'm going all over the place. back to this juror. Now, the Indian man, hate to say it, because he was like, "Oh, it looked like two people in love. They fight, they get back together." That's cultural. That's a bit cultural.
Mm.
Not
Okay.
for everybody, not
Okay.
for all, but I've seen it growing up with, Indian
Mm.
families in my neighborhood, and the
Ah.
husbands as kids doing playing basketball, and the husband came home, and you could hear it in the house. And
Mm.
I live middle class. So, just he didn't surprise me when he
Okay.
said that, all right? The girl, she was a fan, talking about, "Oh, we tried not to make eye contact with him, but he would turn around and he would make the same face that I made." They say he was doing heart signs to them, like doing
Yes.
heart si all of it. So they still saw she said, "I grew up in that era," so she still saw that puffy. So anything that was coming in, she was still a fan.
Well, what killed me when she said, "No, I'm not a fan." But then he gave us this look, and he used to do that same look on Making the Band. You know what? Like, how the
You're a
fuck would you
fan,
remember a
fan,
look he did on Making the Band 15 years ago, and you're not
fan.
a fan, ma'am? And then
She's a
she's
fan.
smiling every time, every question. She just is cheesing.
Nothing was funny.
Like,
Nothing was
ma'am, do you know
funny.
why you're here? Do you know what we're talking about? But again,
What is she
so intentional to use those two jurors.
mhm.
Right? And of course, maybe everybody didn't want to be a part, but it's 12 of them. And in two I'm finna say understudies, but whatever you call it, like they had more people to ask and choose from, but these are the two they put up there. Like, no, ooh,
I couldn't believe it. I could, but I couldn't. I'm like, "You gonna put your face out here like this,
we had
girl?"
to see. Yeah, like that, but that's how goofy she was. Like,
Goofy.
she don't even understand.
Goofball.
She don't even because when the whole trial was going on, they kept talking about there was certain juror there was one in particular that they said
Mhm,
clearly was a fan and was a fan of the music and said that, but
mhm.
still somehow got through.
I
So
wonder if
then it
that's
had me
her.
wondering if this was her.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. Didn't believe Capricorn saying, "Oh, the story was compelling," or she didn't use that word, but she was like, "The story was awful, but it also was with a lot of emotions." And so the emotions about it just didn't seem real.
nigga, her boss held her at gunpoint to go,
Kidnapping.
yes, but
She said that wasn't real.
but it was a gun, and it was her boss, someone that she had love for, and then saying, "Hey, we're going to go find this other guy and kill him, and we're gonna find Cassie, who was also her friend." It's like, and then she got fired because it was something that she wouldn't do. Like, why would she not?
Mhm.
I do hate that people can't put themselves in other people's shoes. Like,
Mm-mm. They
if it's
can't.
not that exact situation, like they just can't see it. I
Mm-mm.
can't see it. I can't see it. But you probably in your house going through the same shit, but you know what I mean? But you see
It's
it different. You
different.
know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
yes, a lot of people enable his behavior. A lot of people ate off of his bad behavior. And it wasn't,
Everybody.
it's a whole industry. It was a whole time. Like,
Mhm.
this was just what was going on. This was what going down. Right. And finally some people get out of there or whatever. And now you're like penalizing them
Mhm.
for telling their truth. It's just like, what do you want? Because if they wasn't saying this dude would still be down there in Miami, Harlem shaking. Like,
Diddy Bop.
and
Bop.
that's what I was just say, like, if he would just pay people, we wouldn't know about none of this. Because if he would have
None of
gave
this.
Cassie the money after he did all that stuff to her, if he would just gave her that money, none of this. It wouldn't have went anywhere. You
And
could
it's
retire, all that.
into the sunset. And it just would have been rumors. But he just that arrogance was so you ain't gon' yeah, he was that Love album was supposedly about her talking about come back. Wasn't she with her husband and
Yes.
married by then? With one kid? When that
Yes.
album you still trying to tell her to come back home?
And you know what also blows
What?
me is people was talking a lot of shit about Lil Rod and his lawsuit. And then we see it on the documentary and
We
then it got
saw
real.
it.
And he was like, "Hey, how about y'all take some of this video?" Like y'all can literally see them voice recordings. And he literally Puffy referenced Little Rod's penis
Yeah,
in the voice recording.
yeah.
It's like, but then you could also see in the video, because Lil Rod is like, again, if you go, you gotta be on 24/7. The man doesn't sleep, and
Mm.
you're at his beck and call when he wants to record or whatever you gotta record. And then you would see he over there playing the piano in a Santa suit
He
next to Puffy,
said
and then he's looking up at Puffy like, "Oh." Like, this man is in like, you can look at them and tell
intoxicated
this guy he was
with
looking
him.
like he was God.
Mhm.
And it's like, how is this hard for people to believe? But
And that's
again,
a man.
and that's a man, and that's the other thing. Like you said before, Pete, because the first lawsuits that came out years ago was from men, and they got
Mhm.
dismissed immediately. So now it's because like ain't nobody listen to the man side of things. So this documentary also brings that back around. Like, no, let's really look at this now.
Yeah,
Let's really look at this.
yeah. That man said he missed 2 Christmases, 2 of his kids' birthdays being on this boat trying to make this love album that he didn't get paid for or was offered 26,000. And one of the clips, you could clearly he was
26,000 is crazy for 2
insane.
years.
Insane. Um, you could see in those clips, they were clearly high. When he said sometimes he would wake up and
Yeah,
Diddy
he
was
would.
next to him. What? I'm not eating or drinking nothing else. What? Girl, it was too much.
Yes,
But
yes.
there were scenes
Overstimulating for
when
sure.
when you could see that, that character of Diddy, he was like when he was struggling with that, with the song, and the guy was like, "Yeah, it took, like, 7 months to get 1 bar." "What what are we doing?" But he
Pete,
was like, "If y'all think y'all laughing at me? If I don't win, y'all don't win."
right.
When he said that, he was like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
oh, if I'm a loser, if I mess up and I sound a mess, y'all sound a mess."
When
It's
he
like he
tried to
just flip
correct
it
him,
back.
when
Yes.
he was like, "Do it like this," he said, "Don't ever do that." And it's like, that's what a producer does. That's literally why you hired a producer. "Hello, excuse me." But no, that's why he's hiring
Insane.
these people who need a break. You see what I'm saying?
Who need it and just would not say no.
And would eat, breathe, and sleep that.
Everything.
Oh, man. It was
It's
just
so much.
you're so right. It was so much going on. Just in like, they really packed it all in into 4 hours. I'm sure it could have
Mhm.
been 8. Like, that
Easy.
oh my god! When that video
Which one?
look, that man, Lil Rod,
Yeah,
he got some angels on his side. Cause I don't know who told him, "Hey, take a video of this, bloody bathroom.
that part.
Something's weird here. Just take a video." Like, and it's like, it won't matter till, like, 2 years later, but take it like, he had all this that man literally showed you that man's blood on the floor, and we still don't know where G is to this day.
Mhm. He
And that
said
came out too during while Puffy was in trial. And
all
they
of it.
said then at the time it was some kind of disagreement with Justin and this
Mhm.
guy, and he brought his dad in, and the guy ended up shot. Now we've never seen him before. And Rod was like, "Oh, bet I got video from that night of his blood on."
Yeah.
What?
They went into the bathroom. Diddy and Justin went in. He heard shots. He was listening to music, and he said, "Did I push the wrong button on the
Right.
keyboard? Are those shots?" And he's patched the dude up and's been told, "Don't say nothing about it." Men. So again, these are men that can easily be shut up. But folks are talking
But Cassie
about,
should have
"Oh,
left.
Cassie should have left.
There was
She
this
should have
thread
left.
that said, folks be like, uh, Puffy killed Tupac and Biggie, but Cassie should have left.
Cassie should have left."
Uh, excuse me.
Mm, she
Like,
not that she was drugged out, pimped out. What is it? Stockholm syndrome.
all the above.
All of that. As psychologists and people who've been in it, who've been in abusive relationships, ask them how difficult it is to leave. You know you should leave. Part of you knows you should leave. How hard it is to leave and how you keep going back. It's science. It's documented. On top
Mm,
of he was running her life with money. She had nothing. I don't even
no.
know if she really had like a bank account. It seemed that here, you get, this is what you get, but he's always attached to it.
Oh,
Everything he was attached to. So she had no independence outside of him.
she
So
didn't even
even if
have a
she does
doctor.
leave, didn't even have a doctor.
The doctor, she had to go through him to get to her doctor. Her prescriptions had to go through
That
Puffy.
part.
Like, she couldn't even have a lady doctor. It
When
had to
she
be
said he didn't wanna have a baby with me and as much sex as they were having, you don't think she got pregnant? Then what did he do? Make
no,
her
yeah,
go see his doctor.
yeah, she got it.
Come on. Come on. I ah, people are just looking at it through a lens of, "Oh, but she had this lavish lifestyle."
Mhm.
We know people in real life who have a beautiful life and know something ain't right at the household. Beautiful pictures on Facebook, beautiful, and know something ain't right. This girl, 19, she was 19 years old when she met him,
Mhm.
when he was at the height of, so nobody said no to him. She can't say no.
She signed a 10 record deal.
10. That is ridiculous. It's unheard of.
Mhm.
It's unheard of. So you're 19, young, you're seeing grown men stutter and be afraid of this man. Yeah, I'm kinda locked in too. What am I gonna do? If he's scared of these grown men are scared of him, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna get out of this?
Because Ryan Leslie brought her in, who was also older than her,
Yep.
okay, and she had been with
Uh,
him for some years, but he brought her in,
yeah.
and then Puffy mushed him right on out that situation, so she literally was just there by herself.
Every girl was somebody else's girl. What was that about?
Drake, it's it's I'm like, the comparisons were there. It's like, at the very least, this is how I can get you back. You know what I
Oh,
mean? It's like, I know this'll hurt you, like, this'll be the thing, and then he definitely had a thing for anybody who had ever been anywhere near Tupac. You know what I mean?
probably because of Quincy Jones. He didn't fool with Kadada or that whole thing.
Mhm.
Jada, those friends, he knew who to fuck with and who not to fuck with. But
Yes.
something happened for all of this to unravel. Because, yes, the Me Too movement happened in the film industry. So that also tells us that this was the norm industry wide, movies, finance, you think of it, New York, just whatever you name, that echelon of people, this is what was going on. It's still maybe going on now still. They're keeping it quiet,
Mm.
but it I
It's
it
a
was a
lot.
lot. It was a lot. I just
It was a lot.
ultimately, it was a lot, and we were all part of it. Just
Yeah.
we
All
helped.
willing participants.
Running around, if the summer melon Ciroc came out and it would be sold out at this ABC, and so, "Oh, they got it at Total Wines. Let's go
Mhm.
get the summer colada Ciroc." Like you said, Shaun, you just put your head down, you're like, "Yo, I'm complicit." In a
That
way, like, not
that
for
got
real, but
not
in a
but
way.
yeah, that got me specifically because 'cause I'm like, that's a very specific memory that I have, that me and my friends
Very.
we would giggle about that for years, how I would make them, and just thinking that that woman saw that, and that
Every
literally,
day.
the pain that that caused her, and me I was like, That's so fucked up, and I'm just
Aubrey.
out there like, "Woo, bye-bye."
Mhm.
'Cause that was that
Everybody.
year he ran the marathon, and so he
He
had got
ran
that
the
mohawk,
marathon.
and that's how
And
and I'm just thinking and it's not that I thought he was a great, nice guy. I
yeah,
just
you
thought,
knew he was a jerk.
like, yeah, I knew, but it was
He
like,
was an
okay,
asshole.
but white people get to be out here and be flamboyant and flashy and then so okay, we got one too.
Diddy bopping.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, okay, he living life, he having fun. This guy was out here being nefarious. We're gonna I found it also hard to
Very.
see his kids there, well, his sons. I have never like, this
Oh.
whole time with his lawsuit and stuff, and everybody's like, the kids," and I know you were like, "Hey," you were very specific. You're like, "Hey, when I say the kids, I mean the girls. Like, we need to make sure the girls are okay." And so I'm like, "Yeah, because the boys are in some shit." But I didn't know first of all, both Justin and Christian have cases out against them, literally right now.
Mhm.
But I didn't know that's another story they were telling. Several times. They didn't even mention Christian, but several times they was like, "And who was right there with him? Justin? Justin was in the freak offs. Justin had baby oil. Justin had" I'm like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, Justin!"
Diddy talking about, "I God told me to sit still, but you know what to do." To me, that's a he's signaling.
Yes.
"Handle it, son."
And then Justin was and he was looking at his phone and he was like, "Okay, we gotta tell the story of y'all trying to keep a black man down." And I'm like,
Oh,
"My God in heaven,
I
like y'all
just
he is raising them up under him to be him." And it's like, "Oh my God, like how do you stop it? At what point
oh,
it's gone too far?" As far as the kids are concerned, how do you even bring those boys back from the brink?
I mm. And at at one point, I guess after the 2nd episode, they kept putting all the trials and where we are now.
Yeah.
76 civil lawsuits are still pending. So when when 50 got on and he was like, "Oh, no, he thinks he's gonna get out here and it's gonna be back to normal." No, he's gonna be ruined. 76 civil lawsuits are still pending.
I did not realize it was that many. I was happy to hear that the Joy Dickerson
Mhm.
lady, Neil,
Yeah.
that she was one of the first. I was
Mhm.
happy to hear that she had already taken action. You know what I mean?
Mhm. And what I was about to say is 76 are remaining because it started with 100, which tells me that not even a payout, they probably shifted through and they're like, "Okay, this is trash. That's just somebody just trying to cash grab." But 76 are still hanging on.
'Cause aren't a lot of them those through that Tony Busby guy who is
That's
weird on
probably
his
that
own?
first half that's been thrown
Yeah,
out
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
to
I
leave
wonder, is
76.
Little Rod's still pending?
Let's
Do we
look.
know?
Let's
Cause I
see.
know I know his was under fire.
When it came out, everybody was so like, "Oh, no, that's not he's lying." But like you said, when he had that video, what made him document that? His I guess his experience with Diddy and making this
Maybe he wanted to chronicle his own ride, like, maybe, cause they thought this was gonna be I have heard people say that this was one of Diddy's best albums, but then isn't that the one that song he had a hit
Mhm.
song on there. But then it was like, as that song was dying down was when this lawsuit started. So, I mean, he probably was trying to be fair, that is one good thing about being in this time. Like, people aren't understanding what it used to be like, but
Mhm.
because this is the time that it is, okay, yeah, people are gonna be recording everything and you probably won't even know because they're using their phone.
Everything.
Um, and now look, I don't know what's gonna happen with their cases and stuff, but I like that these people get to have their just due. They get to tell their story straight from their mouth, bring their receipts or whatever that they have. That man Kirk had handwritten receipts. He
Hand
said,
to the dime of how much
"Ooh,
money was being spent.
Kirk was not playing with y'all." Because also, if he started this with Puffy, that meant it was a dream of his too at one point, and he didn't want to. Clearly, he didn't want to be a star and all that stuff, but he wanted to see them and their people succeed. He said he was the one who helped plan the funeral and stuff for Biggie, and then of course Biggie, the guy from Biggie's estate, gonna come out and say none of that happened. We didn't pay for it. He said he was speaking on behalf of Biggie's mama. Biggie's mama is
Mhm.
not here. She's
She's
dead.
gone.
How are you speaking on behalf of her when she is not here?
She's
Sir,
gone.
number one. And then apparently there had been a lot of rumors that he was, you know, he had been he
Kirk?
had been no, not Kirk. This guy's last name is Burrows as well, but he's from Biggie's estate.
Oh,
But there
okay, I
had been
remember.
rumors that he had stolen money or that the money was funny at some point while
Mhm.
Miss Valletta was still here,
I remember
and that
that.
there had been clashes. And so it's like, who are you to speak on it? But at the end of the day, Puffy said we was gonna make this recoupable. That means you won't know shit about what happened. It would happen before it came to y'all. Even if they just said, hey, this money goes for the marketing that we did for Life After Death. When actually, so sir, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know.
It was probably recouped years ago. Really
Sure.
quickly, looking at Lil Rod's lawsuit.
Okay.
So he filed in January. So March, they were able to take out the RICO breach of contract, but the judge allowed for everything else.
So it's
The
still that case is still going? That
Still pending. He's one of
Go
them, that
ahead.
one of the
Go ahead,
76
young
that's
man.
still pending, Lil
Good
Rod.
job.
And for him to get on camera, again, men,
Yes.
vulnerable, and say the things that happen, and with this video attached. So we're like, okay, he could say it. He could talk like he was there, but he's like, no, I have videos that I was with this man, and high as a giraffe's face. I mean, in the clouds,
Yeah, though.
all of them on
And that means
camera
for 2 years.
for 2
And
years.
then imagine when you finally go home. I know you're addicted now. Like, your whole life is now changed because
2 years. And it's a man who was on these drugs that didn't leave and said this he will wake up sore? Sir, let me off this yacht right now. I'm taking the dinghy and zzz, you gotta zip zzz. You gonna see this little dinghy in the middle of the ocean. Excuse me? You woke up sore and did it again all over again? And then the next time he would be laying next to you when you wake up? What?
so then, that tells me or one of my thoughts that came up during that was like, okay, and just I don't wanna be disrespectful. I didn't read into what Kirk Burrows said about I don't about his sexual assault that took place with Diddy,
Yeah.
but what it made me think was that kinda like how with the whole Me Too thing, and it's like, in order for you to be here, in order for you to be around, you gotta pay to play, and
Mhm.
this is your fee, and in fact, that was something that has been not only said about Puffy, but just been said about the industry, but it's always said about women, number 1, and so really just
Always.
with Puffy coming out, this when it started talking about it happens with men too,
Mhm.
and that's something that I have been heard, to be honest with you, um,
Yep.
'cause I used to do some work in the entertainment industry, and there's some big known names, male singers, that they're saying this is how they got into the industry. And those singers now today are having a hard time. They're struggling. They got their own cases out there. So you can connect the dots.
Mm.
If you can connect the dots, okay? But and I believe it's because of how they had to get into this industry and what that did to them and their soul and their body, and they take it out on others. And now, and I can think the same thing might have happened to Puffy. It's like somebody did that to you, so now you have to assert your own power and dominance, or you think that that's just the way it should be and that's the way it goes, and now you have to do this. But now we're in a time where people are gonna say something and they're going to be even men, you know? So it's like, it just
Yeah.
made me think like, oh, they were like indebted to him in this way. And they felt like they had to stay there in order to have anything, I guess.
Anything. What did he say? He dangled the carrot. "Oh, if we once we finish this project, I'll pay you. Once we do this, I'll pay you, but you gotta stick with me. I'll pay you." And folks not getting paid this whole time. Or the ones that
Nobody.
did, he was sprinkled just enough to keep you around. "Oh, the next one, we're
Yeah.
gonna get it. We're gonna get it." How he broke up Danity Kane,
Mhm.
started Dirty Money, then Kalina was like, she
With
heard
that dirty
that
money music.
Dirty Money.
That
Listen,
that Dirty Money
I
CD,
I was about to say, like,
for years, I played that CD. That's some good music.
rocking. The press play, what was that? When he was on the it was a blue he was in, like, this blue let me have to look it up.
Oh, man. I only stopped listening to that CD when his lawsuit came down. That was a, cause that's the one that Keisha go, "Last night,
The
didn't even get an
best.
answer." That was on Dirty Money.
When we saw them recording it,
Yeah.
and we're like, "Oh, that's gonna be a hit," and he kept telling her, "No, that's not right, that's not right, that's not
Yeah.
right. Do it again, do it again." It's it's dope. It was dope. The
It
music was there,
was.
and it's harder it's hard to do with R. Kelly too because he touched so much with music. People wouldn't believe. They think, "Oh, just his albums." No, no. He
Yeah.
wrote for some of the big dogs that you still singing
Mhm.
along to. With the same thing with
It's
Diddy.
true.
It's so many acts, but when we look at it and we heard it, he wasn't paying them, that's why they would fall off. Total, 112, Faith, every just keep going. I went to that concert, the reunion concert. Amazing.
Oh, the one that, because they did a documentary about it on Apple. Yeah.
Amazing. Just stick Diddy Bop. Everybody just did it. Because you had all these artists who had hits.
The
What's what?
music was,
It was there.
and
The
Little
music
Kim
was
came
there.
back.
Little
Mhm.
kid, everybody. But I'm assuming they had to do this tour just to get some money because they weren't getting paid.
I hope they got paid for the tour.
Hope they got paid for the tour. It was a great show.
Uh,
Great show. Excellent show. Which also then made me sad too. Cause
mm.
like these people who had the talent, they all said Diddy had the ear, but he had no talent. What is it? Mark
Which
Curry
is,
who wrote the
yeah, oh,
song.
that was the best part.
He said, I didn't record it like that. I didn't write it to be sung like that. You gotta have some power behind you. I remember all of these performances.
And he posted something, I don't know if it was posted this morning, but I saw it this morning. So, cause he wrote a book about
I
all
saw
this stuff
that.
from before, and it's selling out now. Like,
Uh-huh.
they can't even keep up, and I don't know if it was independently published or what, but he was like,
Probably.
"Hold on, guys. Okay, okay, hold on. We actually did not, foresee this, so but thank you."
Yeah.
So, that good for him, for anybody, like, Puffy, he shoulda just, but he didn't wanna be, he wanted to be the center of attention. Remember, they were
He
like,
wanted to.
"Oh, Andre Harrell kinda pumped him up and said he was the important one," and he
Uh-huh.
believed that and moved forward in that capacity. And so, and I guess at some point that wasn't good enough. He's like, "Well, I got to be the one making the music." Okay, so okay, now hold
I'm the
on, sir.
one.
Hold on. Hold on.
I'm the one.
Hold,
Eh,
please.
I'm the one. And he said, "I don't write it." He said in
Mhm.
his raps, "I might not write the raps, but I rap tight
Mhm.
or whatever." He's a performer. He's an
Yeah,
entertainer, manipulator, all
always.
the things. And it just I we'll see when he gets out, what's gonna happen.
I do want to say shout out to, cuz I seen some of my peoples in the, my peoples, like I know them. Well, and shout out to Tisa Tales, cuz I saw them, that I heard her voice over when they were, how they start playing cuts of
Yeah.
what people said about different, and I heard her voice, And I was like, "That sounds like Tisa from YouTube." I said, "Okay, Tisa." And then next thing you know, they cut and she was talking to the camera. I said, "They done put Tisa in the documentary. Go ahead, girl." I was so proud.
She
I was so
said it.
proud of my gossip folk. And also, Lauren LaRosa. Lauren done had a good year from Breakfast Club. Lauren done had a good year. And I said, "Go ahead, black
Wow.
ladies. Go ahead. Get in these things.
And she
Get
she
your
was the
coins."
one that said how they would leave the courtroom and how certain bloggers would twist it and turn it. She's like, "Well, what were we in the same courtroom?
Right, right.
That's not it."
I was
She's like, "His
surprised
team."
that yeah, I was actually surprised when Tisa said she turned down their offer, because honestly, I would have thought she would have been one of the ones because the way she be posting and stuff and it be so fast, and I just would have assumed that she would have jumped on that bandwagon to get. So I was like, "Okay, thank you for telling us, that they were doing this," but it makes sense. That sounds like a now after watching that sounds like Puffy's brain, like, and it worked. It
Mhm.
at least drove a divide into people
It
as
worked.
far as, but now hearing that that wasn't a natural divide. That
No.
was them putting their it's just like with MAGA and the bots from
Mhm.
across the sea. That didn't actually start naturally. People naturally had to. So that was cool of them to even add those viewpoints in there. For real.
Uh, Unbelievable.
Wasn't it though, P? It was that was a good
Unbelievable.
documentary.
It was good, it was sad. Of course, when they
Yeah.
showed, the video with Cassie again being beat up. Like, how do you watch that and say, "Oh, oh, oh," that was back to the juror where she was like, "Yeah, it wasn't a domestic violence case, though. He may not have been a good man, but that wasn't the case." And I've been on a jury before, and you do have to follow the instructions and some stuff, but
Okay.
some stuff she was a fan. We just know. She was a fan.
Big fan
That's
from
all
way
it
back.
was.
Big
And
fan.
they didn't buy that, Cassie was a victim. They didn't buy Capricorn being a victim. Did Little Rod, did he testify? I don't remember.
I don't recall. And there were some days where I did stay away from it because
I
it was
had
like
to.
too
It
I
was
had to
it was too
just
much.
so I'm not sure.
I don't
I
know.
almost wanna say no, but it's like you put a pretty lady up there and they're like, you know what I mean? Like, no, couldn't have been. And these people was with him for years. And it
Years.
really pisses me off. I don't care what Cassie agreed to on what day. Clearly under duress. But even still, they be like, well, she was with it. So you mean to tell me for 10 years she was with it and she can't say no and mean no? You mean to tell me that if she say, yes, let's do this the first time, there's never a point when she could say, I don't feel like doing this today?
Exactly.
Never? That is just, oh, it pisses me off so bad. It pisses me off so bad that this is just the society we live in, that women just,
Property. Just you could treat women however, like they said, you have a wife and you have a wifey. And we still to this day, we know that that's the thing.
that did surprise me though. Then when they put that clip up there of them taking pictures
With
and how
Kim
he took the
there,
picture with Kim and then Kim stepped to the side and Cassie stepped in. I said, huh, what? And then I was like, oh, well, maybe they were doing like the artist and her manager type picture. But they literally had on like the same dress.
that man is,
It was like
again,
it was the same
diabolical.
pose where,
Diabolical.
and then Kim, and then you look and they don't even look at each other, Cassie and Kim.
Mm-mm,
And it's
mm-mm.
and I'm understanding why they're not, like, I'm understanding the tension, but then I'm like, what? Wait, he was having y'all out here together having to do this shit? And but then your mind starts to go like, actually, yeah, I do remember them saying that this was how it worked.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then they
wifey.
actually showed a clip of this.
Unbelievable. And was that prior to the twins or after twins?
I don't know, cause Cassie was there for so long.
She was there, but I wanna like, what made Kim finally say, "Enough"? What? What made her finally
Okay,
say, "Are we ti is it tinfoil time?"
is it tinfoil hat time?
Because what made her finally say, "You know what? I'm done." And she had her own life. She had she was doing her own thing with the kids. We didn't
Can
really hear
you
about her.
Alright.
Come on.
Do you know when Kim what year did she die?
Let's see.
And or when did they officially break up?
Alright. Based on the Googs, she died in 2018,
2018, okay.
and at the time, they said it was due to pneumonia,
Yes.
okay? Which is
When did
possible,
they break
people
up? Yeah.
okay. Now, let's see. Um, let's see. People did a timeline, so I'm gonna go ahead and say people are reputable.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll go with it today.
we'll go with it. It's hard nowadays. All right, so she passed in 2018, couple 1998, Christian, 1999, 2000, reconciled in '03. '06,
Mhm.
they welcomed the twins,
Okay. So
3
Cassie
years old.
was
Wasn't in
mhm.
the cards. Final split for good, 2007.
So the twins were super young
A
when they
year.
split for good. And I remember they did like that Essence or Ebony photo shoot with the babies and
Uh-huh. Mhm.
so here's why I ask. Cause Kim dated some people after that.
Mhm.
One of the people she dated was Chris Lighty,
That's right.
who's also dead. Chris Lighty
Right.
was a violator management. So Mona Scott and all them and how they managed artists. Chris Lighty managed Diddy. Chris Lighty managed 50 Cent. Chris Lighty dated Kim Porter. Then they found Chris Lighty dead in his backyard by a gunshot to the head. And they said it was suicide. Everybody around him, including his artists, said he would never do that. So then people were like, well, he owed the IRS some money. And they're like, so?
Mm-mm.
Like, it would have gotten taken care of because we all got money. Literally, 50 Cent went on record saying that he was going to find who did this to Chris Lighty because he knew Chris Lighty didn't do it to himself. So when people are talking about, yes, 50 is petty and all that, okay? It is not just about Puffy trying to buy some clothes for 50 Cent. In fact, Puffy and 50 had been beefing since before 50 was 50 Cent, back when he was the mad rapper in New York and he had
Yeah.
that song called How to Rob. And Puffy was one of the main artists who came out talking about him. They've been beefing ever since then. But they were both managed by Chris Lighty. Chris Lighty and 50 Cent were actually friends. 50 Cent said he gonna figure out who did this to him. I
Wow.
believe that 50 believes that part of his reasoning for whatever he got with Puffy is him trying to avenge some things. In particular, one of them being the death of his friend, which all the people around him believe he did not kill himself. And then it was with a gun, like
Mhm.
in the backyard. So I believe that part of it is, especially with Chris Lighty also managing Puffy. So I believe 50 had some firsthand knowledge, just like a lot of people in the industry at this time, which is clear because they all coming out now, right, to talk about it. He
Everybody.
has some firsthand knowledge of what Puffy might do. So it would stand to reason that he might have done some things that 50 ain't agree with other people. And now you find, not now, but now we go back and start thinking like, oh, Chris Lighty. And 50 was very vocal about this stuff. So I'm like,
I
no, he
remember.
believes Puffy is a killer.
I remember.
And I don't care what kind of beat. He 50 Cent, first of all, ain't finna go make no Fire Fest documentary about Ja Rule, as much beef as they got. That's 50 ain't do that. He didn't make a documentary about it, and he wouldn't make a documentary about Ja Rule insinuating that he was a murderer of
Right.
several people unless he really thought he was a murderer of several people. Like, he would not put his name on that. So 50 believes what's in that documentary, and that just brought me back to who are the other people who have died? Because there's Heavy D, died of pneumonia. In fact, died of the same type of pneumonia that Kim Porter died of, but I
Was it
digress.
pneumonia or a heart attack? Because he was outside walking, they said. Heavy D.
So with Heavy D, they said several things.
Mm,
They said pneumonia, they said heart attack, they said blood clot because
they
he had been
did.
flying and he was a big guy, right? So it's like people couldn't get it narrowed down to one, and that was another strange thing. But it's like, okay, people do just die, right?
They do. They do.
But then it's weird though, because when you look at everybody, because you got, and I don't know how Andre Harrell died, but Andre Harrell died right
In
when they was doing a
2020.
documentary. They was doing a documentary on Andre Harrell, then they was doing a documentary on Puffy, and then Puffy was getting his Lifetime Achievement Award. People keep dying right before Puffy, has a big thing.
Let me say this. So in People, they
Okay.
reference an interview that Kim did with Essence and explaining why she chose to wait for Combs to leave town before packing up all her things, including the kitchen table. This is what it says. She says, I wanted to be dramatic. I wanted him to know I wasn't breaking up with him for 2 weeks or maybe leaving for 2 days. If I pack up everything, twins and all, it means I'm out. Puffy is an action person, not a talk person. So I had to have action in telling him I'm leaving. It says, babe, I'm leaving was not going to do it. I had to take action.
Cause
2007. What made her do
ooh,
that?
especially at that time, because you can't. It's
Your
like
twins are
everybody
a
who was
year old.
around him, he controlled everything.
She waited for him to leave town, maybe to go see Cassie,
Mhm.
to pack up. So he came home to an empty house. Kim was gone with the twins.
And who knows how long it took her to even plan that to be able to get that
Who
done.
knows?
So you got Heavy D, you got Kim Porter, you got Andre Harrell, you got Chris Lighty. There's actually someone else who died of a suicide that was in their circle as well. It's just odd, P. It's odd.
This whole, huh?
What?
This whole, it's the interview is coming. The Essence interview, Porter also shares that their relationship turned sour when she was still pregnant with the couple's twins, and the girlfriend told Combs had recently fathered a baby with another woman.
Oh, Sarah Chapman. Yeah. Oh, that is what happened. Sarah Chapman, also the ex-girlfriend of Tupac. So that's the
Why
three girls,
again?
the twins, and then there's always the third daughter,
Chance?
Chance. That's Sarah Chapman's daughter. Mhm.
It's not an original script. He's not the first man who cheated. He's not the first man who's had a baby outside of a relationship. He's not the originator of this. But at this point in my life, I have girls now. Mm, it's a different program.
Yep. That is, yep. Mhm. I remember this.
Wow.
Yep.
This is so whack. I can't even respect you right now. And for me, once the respect is gone, I'm not listening to you. So it was, and it says here, in July of 2006, Combs welcomed Chance with Sarah
Mhm.
Chapman. Delilah and Jesse, the twins, came in December.
Mm.
Wow. This people
Mhm.
will have to put this in the show notes
Yes.
because they always said Kim was the one that truly had his heart. Now, he still was doing whatever, but Kim
Right.
was always wife, quote unquote,
But he refused to get married.
to anybody.
Mhm. But it was supposed to be her. Not
Mhm.
That don't
The
sound right. But it's
closest
like
to.
that was the discussion
Mhm.
between the 2 of them, and he just could not do it.
'Cause he
And so
knew.
she left him because she had the girls and she needed a new life, and then she ended up dying, and the girls went right on to him because that's their daddy, but
That's their dad.
they were still ended up coming up under him.
It took her to have girls, little girls, for her to wake up and say, "You know what? Mm-mm. I can't have them see this." And now, like you said,
That's actually very, very common. That's what made my mom leave my dad.
a little girl.
Mhm. Yeah, very common. Very common. And I'm not saying she knew what he was
Ooh,
doing with everybody else, but whatever he was doing to her, like, she knew what kind of person that he was.
she knew.
They said that her and Cassie had discussions because she died. Cassie left Puffy before Kim Porter died.
Mhm.
And
They
she
said she
came
was
back
talking
to
to
be
her.
with him.
Mhm.
Not be with him, but when she died, then you saw Cassie pop back up to try to support him. That
Mhm.
didn't last long, but that's the rumor is that Kim Porter and Cassie have been having conversations towards the end.
Like, leave.
'Cause they always yeah, it
And then Kim
so
ends up dead.
what do you think about this destiny swapping conversation that people are having? Have you been have you heard?
Of him almost like a vampire, quote, unquote, taking the energy of the people.
Yeah, cause there's this thing where people will intentionally try to take other people's destiny, yes, but karma and swap with them if that person has the bigger light or they deem them to be XYZ. Now, previously, it was as I had now this is like a spiritual concept, like a hoodoo thing. People saying that that's what happened with all these deaths. When I was learning about it, I didn't realize that death was a part of it. Because I always heard when you go to New Orleans, don't shake people's hands, don't let them dap you up, don't do the elbow thing, because it's like it's a contact
Mm.
thing, and they say it happens a lot in New Orleans.
Mm.
I didn't know, but people, so people are taking the destiny swapping concept and they're turning it into the sacrifice conversation. To me,
Mm.
sacrifice was not necessary for the people that try to do the destiny swapping thing. But online now, things get all intertwined. Now they're saying, oh,
Child.
it's destiny swapping. He's a demon sacrificing. And I'm like, okay, all this is not the same, number one. But yes, there is a conversation that people are saying that it wasn't just, I want to be a star, so let me get with your network and then move along. They're saying that he was, sacrificing people, basically, which also is the thing now. Like, like, that's what they
Yeah,
say. Anytime
child.
somebody die, they
Yeah.
was a sacrifice so apparently nobody out here just, nobody's talented or anything.
Can just
But that's separate
die.
from Puffy. This is a whole
Um,
conversation they're having on with the tinfoil hat TikTok, okay, was
back
about
back to that,
uh-huh,
but Andre
sacrificing.
Harrell, died of heart failure, congestive heart failure, and he had a history of heart problems. That's what his
Okay.
wife said. Alright, so we'll say that. The other thing that's going on, in line with what you were just saying, his tattoo on his back.
That's what I yep, yep. And
Now, I don't know.
people are like, "Why would somebody tell him to get that?" I'm like, "Y'all ain't paying attention." Puffy don't listen to
That
that was
no.
his decision. That was
Yes.
his decision. So I believe okay, so the what we're talking about, people, is Puffy has this tattoo on his back from top to bottom
Full back,
of
a full
mhm,
back tattoo.
a full back tattoo, and it is of I don't want to say her name wrong, but Urzuli Dantor,
Mhm.
who is a deity in is it hoodoo or voodoo culture? But she
This
protects
says
mothers and
Haitian
children,
voodoo.
Haitian
Mhm,
voodoo in particular. All right,
mhm.
and she protects mothers and children. So why Puffy got this gigantic it literally goes from the nape of his neck. Is that what it called?
Mhm.
The nape, the bottom of his neck to his butt. And it goes from one armpit to the other. It takes up his entire back. And this is more recent. This is literally he got this like a few years ago.
That's what I'm trying to see now.
And so people are like, why would he tell? Didn't nobody tell? Puffy did that. He do
This
what he want to do.
says
Mhm.
he got it June of 2017,
Okay, it was much further back.
the back tattoo.
So in my head, he's not a mother, okay? He's a father. And so it's like, why would you get that specific Haitian voodoo deity on your back? So to me, I was like, okay, either he is wanting to protect himself from what he knows that he's done. So like people who belong, quote unquote, to a certain Orisha will then go, they'll get the alekes, they'll get tattooed, they'll get necklaces, they'll get all the bracelets, anything to say, like, I am yours. Like, I follow you. So in my head, the story that I made up, okay, was that he put that lady on his back as his quote unquote sacrifice of himself, saying, I am yours. And it's like, why would you need to be hers? She don't have nothing to do with men, right? Because it's like, hey, if I've done all these things, I now need to appease you because of what I've done. So
Mm.
I'm going to put you on my back. I think that he thought that that was going to save him.
So when he posted that he got this tattoo, he
Okay.
wrote, "I got the front, she got my back." I I I plead the blood of Jesus in the name right now. Let me just say that.
Yeah, he was he need he yep. He knew exactly
Nico
what he was doing.
Hurtado is the artist, the tattoo
Okay.
artist. Okay.
And it's very striking. Like it's very, very like
Ooh.
it looks she looked like real right there. And it's okay, because if you get that on you, that's a belief of yours. So if it is a belief of yours, then that's real life to you. Okay, so you if that's real life to you, you believe in that she's a deity to you. So you even antagonizing this deity from the things that you've done against all the people that she's supposed to protect. Or you've gone to her to like plead your case because of all the things you've done. Either way, it ain't working out for you, my guy. It is not working out for you. She said you thought.
You thought. This is not done. Whenever he does get out, and also the pictures that people have been seeing, they said they've been seeing these pictures of him in jail. It's come out that they've been
They're
AI.
AI. Yeah.
And so I need people to understand that too. We have not seen real pictures of him in jail.
Hmm.
But he's supposed to get out at some point.
I'm hopeful that there'll
We'll
be something
see.
else waiting on him when he get out. I want to know what comes up in this Keefe D trial.
That's next year.
Because Keefe D guys is the man that he's been charged with killing Tupac, and he's the one who went on record saying Puffy paid him to do it. And in the documentary, they literally played his confession. They
Mhm.
somehow got the confession from the police. Oh, and the investigators are in the documentary as well. Because they've
Mhm.
been working on this for 20 years.
Yep.
So they literally played that man's confession, his proffer session. They played it. So we heard exactly straight out his mouth. Now, of course, he's saying, "Oh, it was under duress." It didn't sound like no
Uh-huh.
duress. You was laughing and everything with them people,
Uh-huh.
and he's been saying it for years. So after he was arrested and charged, like they have him confessing to that, but for years before he was arrested, he's been saying that Puffy was involved. It was not just this one time. He's been saying this for years. So
Mhm.
I'm interested to see if they even call Puffy if they depose him or something. Because it's like, how did he stay out of it for this long if they've been saying for this long that he was involved? Which then leads you to the other tinfoil hat theory that people are saying Puffy been involved with the feds this whole time. And it's interesting because in the documentary, there's a lot of footage of him kicking with police officers, including the night that Tupac was shot. The first time Tupac was shot
Mhm.
at that studio. And he said, Puffy set me up. That was when that whole thing, he's like, Puffy set me up. I got shot. Puffy set me up. And they showed footage from that night of Puffy with, with the police. Like, he wasn't looking nervous like somebody just got shot or nothing. He's just hanging up over there with the investigators, chopping it up. All this stuff is weird, P.
And I wanna just make sure, because they said the Raheem, that bodyguard, was former NYPD.
The one,
I wanna double
the
check.
guy who's his bodyguard now,
Mhm. Let me double check.
the one who's with him at the courthouse and stuff.
Correct.
Wow. Yeah, Puffy, he's got friends in high places, white friends too. Cause this is where
Clearly.
he learning this stuff, and he's been protected, and it just goes back to that whole lawsuit he did. Like, you thought you was
May
up here thinking you forgot you was still a black man in America.
Maybe
They
that
been
was the
knowing you.
tipping point.
Yeah.
He
They've
pissed somebody off
mhm,
enough to trigger all of this. Because, like
mhm,
you said, all of this has been going on for years, and people have
they
been
never
just
cared.
brushing, didn't care. He did something
Mhm.
that triggered all of this.
Well, I'm glad you said Andre Harrell's wife, because people seem to think
Yeah.
that he was never married, that he not only was he married, Lorianne Gibson, word on the street, allegedly, was that she was his side piece for years.
It's possible.
And that's like it was a whole well, I shouldn't even say side piece. It was like Puffy and Kim and Cassie. Like it
Mhm.
was well known, and of course that leads people to say that's how she got into moving up higher as she did. But I'm like, well, the
Yeah.
lady can dance though. Y'all see that? Like
She's a
you can't
dancer.
fake that. That's not AI. But
She had talent.
so Andre Harrell was with women.
Mhm.
People seem to think that he wasn't. He was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is ongoing. It's and as 50 continues to post how the Netflix document is number 1 in different countries. He posted something, 20 countries is number 1 now. So it's getting out there. These are 4 powerful episodes.
mm,
Um, we'll see. It's ongoing because 76 pending lawsuits. Diddy will get out eventually. Sean Combs, and we'll see. This the next year, that trial.
mhm.
We're gonna be talking about this for a while, and probably more things will be uncovered and revealed.
Mm. Well, we'll
Well,
be here to talk about it if we do.
whew, this was a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this debrief of the Sean Combs Reckoning documentary on Netflix. I need to watch a cartoon or
Palate you and
something.
your palate cleanser.
Zootopia. I don't know.
Yes, Utopia too.
'Cause this is a lot. This was a lot.
Mhm. Mhm.
You can reach me on Instagram at better3701.
And I'm on Instagram and Threads at Hey Shonda Head. The podcast is also on Instagram at The Everything Has Changed Podcast. And we're now on YouTube. The channel is
Yeah.
Everything Has Changed. Please find us, subscribe, like, share, comment, please.
Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Want to stay locked in with us so you never miss an episode? Visit everythinghaschangedpodcast.com and join our email list. That way you'll be the first to know about new episodes and all the fun stuff we have coming your way. Meet us over there.